Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about it. Our favorite new game that has came out, Arknights Endfield. And honestly, I had high hopes for the game. I honestly had a lot of praise ready for it because I thought it was going to be such a great game. And time after time have they just disappointed us in every single way possible. Between the lies, the blatant, just predatory nature of the entire game. Like, I know gacha games are, inherently predatory, but I thought, things would be a little bit different. Maybe not as predatory. Like, we'd be looking at a baby shark instead of, a giant bull shark type of deal. But not the great white of gacha games, let's be real here. But it's just every single chance they take, they just make themselves look worse and worse. And I have been giving it time, really trying to soak up all the details of the game, play it. Like, I work a full-time job, I got a family, I also am just getting over having the flu, so I haven't had the most time. But I have been playing a lot and trying to get through the slog of tutorials. The gameplay is really nice. I like the gameplay. I like the fluidity. I like the characters. But if you look anything beyond that in the scope of the game, it is just overbearing and just the hardest thing to go through. So let's jump into it and let's start talking about it. The first thing we have to we got to address the elephant in the room, the day one PayPal debacle. The horrible, horrible thing of them basically stealing thousands of dollars from everybody. Accounts getting swapped up, mixed up, just thrown around where it shouldn't be. And I don't know how you even do that, but since they're trying to be as predatory as possible, you'd think that they would get the payment systems up and running, make sure they're actually working properly so you can siphon those dollar bills from everybody. But no, they couldn't even do that, right? They full sent it with a broken system, and a lot of people noticed. A lot of streamers were streaming it that were sponsored by Endfield, like Fobmaster. Most of his sponsored stream was him getting money stolen out of his account, one after another. Some pesos, some this, some of that. It is terrible. And honestly, I don't even know who greenlit the launch of this game, but obviously they didn't check through anything hard enough. And then not even that, them having an issue. Like, let's be real, Wuthering Waves had a pretty crappy start, but they sent so many 10 pulls after 10 pulls with gym benefits and this, that, and the other. Even gave us a 5-star selector. And what do we get for them actually stealing money from Hypergriff? We get a 10 pool, a limited 10 pool. So a brand new account that brings us up to like 15 or 16. Whoopee! And with them not admitting to anything on their own, they're trying to slide it under the rug and use that 10 pool of thanks for 30 million downloads. Why 30 million? Why is that such an odd number for them to use? 30 million isn't normally a standard measurement of, yeah, we made it. Usually it's like 10, maybe 15 to 20, depending on what you're looking at. Then 50, then 100, something like that. But 30 is an odd one. And it's just suspicious that is, around the same time, it's really matching up. If you look at them side by side, it matches up with the PayPal thing. So they're trying to slide it under the rug, make sure that, they send out some kind of compensation without calling it compensation and more of a reward for thank you for playing for the game. But, It also brought up another thing. Because, it's one thing after another with this game right now. But because they gave out that 10 pool, and I think it's fixed now, but the fact that it happened is a thing. They gave that 10 pool, which led to them banning Gmail accounts because, it became a little bit too rewarding to salt a Gmail account and re-roll the account over and over again. Excuse me. And so they banned Gmails. They banned one of the biggest email provider that there is because they didn't want people to re-roll in their already extremely shitty re-roll system that takes like 30 minutes if you're really running it down pat and you know exactly what to do at every single moment. You're looking at about a 30-minute re-roll. And they said, no, just because we gave you these doesn't mean that you get to re-roll with them. Oh, God, no. If you're going to re-roll, be a man and make 100 emails, and hopefully you can get a character you want, because if you don't re-roll and you're playing free-to-play, you might as well just give up, because if you don't get that one character you want and you don't like the play style, well, you're basically just going to hate yourself, because you're not going to be getting another 5-star, or in this game, a 6-star anytime soon. So if you don't get what you want and you're not interested in spending hours on hours re-rolling for the exact one you want, hopefully you get it, then you're just going to have a bad time and you might as well just quit the game. But they banned it for a little time. I believe somebody said that you can now salt the Gmails again, but I'm pretty sure they got pressured by Gmail because, guess where you can download Endfield at? It's on the Google Play Store, which is used by every Android. So by banning Gmails because you want to be extra predatory and extra greedy, and you blocking out a lot of people that only use Gmails, they thought, this is a good thing to do. No, it was not a good thing to do. They immediately backed off on it. But the fact that they tried to do it at all, just because they got extra stingy, because they gave out extra 10 pools so you can try your best on doing a reroll system. I don't know. I don't understand how predatory they could be without realizing that they are killing their own game. Now, again, so we're just talking about what the devs are doing, what they're doing by themselves. Now let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the cons of the game, because that's just them being greedy on the down end, right? Now let's talk about what they're doing in the game. So first of all, yes, there has been plenty of talk on the base system. But thankfully, you can import codes, just build what you need to do and then import the codes and do it. And you can just copy what they're doing. That's fine. But even then, just to understand the basics, if you need to change anything later on, you basically need a PhD just for this game to figure out every little thing that's going on. And I feel like even at through level 20 to 25, you're still getting tutorials on things. Like, how many tutorials do you need in this game? How complicated and convoluted did you have to make everything? It is just a video game. It is not that deep, bro. You guys need to stop being so hyper on everything. Just relax. The game doesn't need to be as complicated. And talking about complicated, for me, this was the last straw. For me, was the zipline system. I figured, you just power the base one, and then from zipline to zipline. No, you have to power each individual zipline. That almost ruins the entire point of it. Like, why do you need 3 different things for every single zipline to make them work? Why can't we just power the base one and just connect them through wires like the futuristic fuckers we are? Instead, we have to build basically a mini tower system just to get through anything, to use a basic form of transportation that they advertise in the game. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I feel like that just needs to be straight up fixed because it doesn't make any sense, and they need to really focus on the fact that people play games to have fun, not to start a second job. And I'm not talking about streaming anything. I'm saying playing the game feels like a job with how much you have to learn, how much you have to invest. It's not about having fun. It's just about them making you as miserable as possible and hoping you end up spending money and throwing money at us and throwing money at them, because you don't get any pulls. You do not get any pulls. And the people that are talking about you get 120 pulls free to play, this, that, and the other, that's if you have prior knowledge of the game, you've done the beta tests, you know what to do, you know how to speed run, you don't have a job or you're a streamer, so you can speed run and only play this game for like 23 hours straight, because I know that's what Mr. Pokey said. Mr. Pokey said you can get 120 pulls free to play, don't let them lie to you. No, if you know what you're doing to the nth degree, and you've played the prior betas, you have no life, you spend 23 hours straight on release doing this, then you'll make 120 pulls. And only then. That's no telling how long it's going to take for people that are just new to the game, have a job, work 5 days a week, maybe have a family. How long is it going to take those people? How long is it going to take the average person to play this game? Because I'll tell you what, I don't have nearly that many pulls. And I do work 5 days a week. I do have a family. I have a wife. I have a kid. Do you think normal people have time to have fun, collect everything, and possibly get that character without adding a new monthly bill to the system? Because I can guarantee you, they're definitely not, with how greedy everything is, they're definitely not going to be getting you any kind of rewards, any kind of satisfaction. Because just look at their weekly rewards. They were saying, oh, you can get Arsenal tickets everywhere. It's going to be so abundant. You can do whatever you need to do. Through the weekly challenges, you get 100 a week. So if that math, 100 a week, you need 80 pulls to guarantee a weapon. That's 4 years. That's 4 years of doing that weekly to guarantee a pull. 4 years that you have to do it, dedicated. Then you can guarantee one weapon. But you can't just pull on it because they reset every character as well. And remember, pity doesn't carry over. So you have to make sure in that 4 years that you like that character. Because the pulling system that they promised us, every new bit of information feels more and more lackluster. It feels more and more predatory. It feels more and more like they hate their player base and just think of them as each individual piggy bank that they can get. And I think the cherry on top is how many content creators, and I will admit, I was glazing the game a bit because I was hopeful. They said things that made me hopeful for the game, and I wanted everybody to have an open mind when going at this game. But all the other content creators that say, oh no guys, you're over exaggerating, everything is fine, they are the problem, and they're going to lead new players into the trap of thinking this game is free to play friendly, this game will help you out, and this game will actually be fun, instead of the slog it is to try and get anything, instead of the heavy curve in learning the game mechanics and system. And, you know, hopefully in the future, they learn and they actually give us like a selector or something. Because right now, let's say you make a new account and you get that sheep healer. I forgot her name. You get her on that fresh character banner. Well, now you're bricked because you're not going to see another 6-star, and then you get another one for free. That first copy that you get put into it, because if you pulled it on the banner and you get one out of the login rewards, you basically you're negative 1 6-star compared to everybody else because you rolled bad on that banner. And now what are you going to do? You got to make a whole new email to hopefully not get that character and get a character you like on the second reroll. But you won't know until 30 to 40 minutes later, depending on how fast you are on the reroll system. How does that seem fun to anyone? It doesn't. It doesn't. And that's actually not even the best of it, because if you get unlucky on the reroll targets, you might have to play a little bit longer just to get enough pulls to get a 6-star or something, unless you just want to risk it all on the 15 pools. If you don't get anything, just spin it again. Yeah, that doesn't create a great experience for anybody. That you've made it so one of the characters, one of the 5 or 6 characters in the standard banner lineup is basically a dead weight pool. And if you get that character, you might as well just trash that account, because they give you so limited pools that you can't even hope to get another 6-star. You can get one next year maybe, but don't plan on getting it anytime soon. With all these things happening, I don't understand how they think this is a functional system because of everything going on. And I really wish they did better, but I don't feel like there's any saving this game, because at every single point of contention, it's just worse and worse. And it's not just fix this one thing and the rest of the game is better, because there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different things that you'd have to fix all together to make it a usable system that doesn't feel like it's sapping the soul right out of you to deal with. Yes, the gameplay is good. Yes, the character designs are impeccable. But if the game itself feels like the worst thing, it feels like you're actually clocking in for a second job. It feels like you are more unhappy when you're done playing that game than when you began. Then what's the point? What's the point of playing any of it? What's the point of even trying to log into it? Because I know every day I logged into that game and I kept trying to figure out more and more things. I just felt, why am I doing this to myself? Why is anyone doing this to themselves? And why is so many people leaving bad reviews? It's because the game's not good. It doesn't stand up to the current representation of how games are and how they're supposed to be. It's not fun enough, and the systems aren't nice enough to the player base. Like, let's be real. It's just bad. It is cruel to the players. It is too predatory, and this game is just set up for failure. I think it's just set up for a quick cash grab, and then it's just going to go downhill and be forgotten. And that's how I feel. I hope things change, but I highly doubt it will. Well, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Peace.